Hey everyone, welcome to the Huddle. I'm here with Matt Shay, and Matt is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the National Retail Federation, which is an advocacy organization based in Washington, D.C. They do a lot of things we're going to talk about. Matt and I have known each other, I guess, Matt, pretty close to 8 years now.
Yeah.
We met when I was in a role at Sam's Club, and then have worked together for a while and have had the pleasure of serving on the board basically all that time. But Matt is here in Bentonville with us visiting.
Great to be here.
We're about to get into a really exciting part of the year. The Interrupt Big Show is coming up in a few days. We're excited to talk about that. Hopefully see a lot of you there as well. But Matt, maybe we should start and just give us an overview of the NRF, how long it's been around, a long time, and the things that you do today.
Sure. Well, thanks. It's nice to be back and see you and so many colleagues and friends down here. So we're excited for the next couple of weeks. So the National Retail Federation is the voice of the retail industry in Washington, really, and beyond today. And we focus a lot on public policy and lobbying and government relations. But our real mission is to convene the industry, to bring our members together, to bring retailers together, to engage a representative group of retail businesses from across the economy, and talk to them about the issues that are most important to them, that impact their businesses and their workforces and the structure of the way they serve customers, and try to learn from that and then try to help support them in the way in which we can deliver programs and services, or we can engage companies to help us navigate what's happening in Washington and in other places around the world, and also to, again, bring them together at a convention like the one we're going to be together with everyone in New York next week. Hopefully, more than 40,000 people. It's always an exciting time, and we're looking forward to it.
It's always a great show. We've had some ups and downs the last few years with the pandemic and shutdown and reopening. But last year we had a fantastic show, well represented from countries all over the world. As you said, close to 40,000 people. NRF, you've been there since 2010. For 14 years, you've been leading the organization. If my math's right, the revenue of the organization has grown about 5x, which is really impressive over that time. And that gives us the means to do a lot of things, as you mentioned, advocacy, philanthropy, invest in students. But the organization started really representing a more narrow segment of retail, the department store industry, based in New York. Talk about it's as best you can, the history of it, when it started, and how we got to where we are now.
Yeah, so the NRF is more than 100 years old, 115 years old almost. And, it reflected what retail looked like back then. If it were 200 years old or 150, it would probably be filled with, would have had, general stores from out on the prairie. But 100 years ago, 120 years ago, at the turn of the last century, was really the era of the department store. And you saw people moving from agriculture, from farms into the urban areas in World War I, World War II. That whole period of 50 years, there was massive transformation in the way retail looked. And every town had a department store, and that was the then modern version of a general merchandise store. In many ways, what Walmart is today, every little town had a department store. So that's how NRF was born. And over the last 100+ years, the NRF has continued to evolve and change as the industry has. And so the segment of membership that we represent, the categories of membership, the size and scale of the businesses kind of reflect what the industry looks like today. And we've gone through every phase of general merchandise and mall-based operators and luxury and discount and grocery. And today we've got thousands of companies, and it's a very representative organization across department stores, general merchandise, luxury, home, digital, specialty retail, food, kind of every category you can imagine. And from the very largest retailer in the world to single owner operators that have one store in a town somewhere. And we think that really represents the base of the industry, and it really gives us an opportunity to hear from all of the stakeholders across the industry.
Yeah, really does. And it's important to have all those perspectives, from the single store operator to the larger businesses, because many of the issues we have are in common. And we're trying to do the best we can to serve our customers and hear Walmart keep prices as low as they can, source great quality goods. But there's been a lot of change and transformation. And last year, the floor of the exhibit was a really good example of just the breadth of technology providers, robotics, software solutions, product suppliers. If you haven't been, again, I hope we see somebody there, but it's really worth seeing because when you step back from retail, there's a lot more to it than maybe what meets the eye when you're in a store or looking at a site trying to decide if you purchase or not. And it takes a lot to come together. So the show to me is just a really exciting way to understand the depth and breadth of the entire industry.
Yeah, and so the show really is, and for many years has been a technology show. So we'll have 45,000 people in New York at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. And there will be a trade show, several floors of trade show, exhibition, expo, walk around. And then running concurrently alongside that will be educational programs and conferences. And you and I will both be on stage having conversations with various other executives in retail and other transformational industries. And what you see on the show floor, I think what our members see and what visitors see are solutions, technology that could be implemented in their businesses, today or tomorrow. And then we have an innovation zone, which is a smaller curated group. And that's really kind of the cutting edge, what maybe is coming down the line. And then we have a startup zone, which is sort of something that this is a nascent technology that maybe is a couple of years away. So you can sort of walk the show floor and find solutions for today, and you can find the sorts of trends that look like they're coming online soon. And then you can even peek out a little bit to the future and say, should we make a bet on one of these, because this is a really interesting cutting edge startup business.
Yeah, I remember last year everything from how to outfit a break room all the way to enterprise software solutions and everything in the middle. Amongst all the members of the board, some of us are competitors. In some cases, some of us are not competitors. How do you think about the role of trying to figure out the common issues across companies, including those that are in the room that do compete, yet they are taking time and really, in some ways, volunteering,
right.
But devoting their time to helping the industry have a common voice for the issues that face us. How do you approach that in your role?
Well, I think the philosophy, both for the team, for the staff, and for the members, has to be to look at the industry trade group, look at the National Retail Federation as a resource that exists to support the industry and to support the industry broadly. And there are things that will help individual companies on issues, and because that's why we're there, to serve members. But on the big issues, on the strategic issues, on policy issues, on trends, on things related to workforce and careers, on telling the story so that people that don't understand retail, that don't know how many jobs retail creates, that don't understand how wonderful the careers are and the kind of revenue that gets generated, to help tell a story that really educates people. And so focusing on the commonality of what can the NRF do that individual companies can't do by themselves. And a company like Walmart, of course, can do essentially anything and doesn't need another organization. So you can implement whatever you wanted to. You've got the resources, the scale, the talent. But speaking with a collective voice, to have an executive, a CEO of a business like you, sitting next to a single store operator and telling a story together, I think resonates with the listener in a way that either one telling the story by themselves really doesn't. And I think that's what the NRF does, is we create a platform to deliver the content and help put the messengers in the right place for the people that need to hear it.
Yeah, it's important because some of the issues are common. The last 3 to 4 years, we've dealt with inflation. We've all worked to try to get prices back down and made a lot of progress this year. But that was a big issue. And second to that, we had organized retail crime. That's common across all sectors. And those are issues that as retail shrinkage or theft go up, it causes prices to rise. And in some cases, stores can close. And we would hate to see a community without a grocery store or without access to goods. So that was a second. And then there are other issues that come up along the way. But collectively, what I always hear is you have an industry. It's a really large sector for employment. You mentioned careers are great. I started as an hourly associate in the garden center 31 years ago across the street. This will be my 32nd year, and just love the opportunity that not only I've been provided to my family, but for so many other individuals and families across all of our member companies across the country is an exciting time. But we're at an interesting point of inflection. And I say that because the way we use data intelligence is changing the way we're going to distribute knowledge and power and other things. The world is really at a point where we will be more powered by technology. Now, Walmart, we pride ourselves on being people-led. We love our associates and the difference they make. and we want to empower them with technology. But talk about what do you think the big trends are as we look forward?
So the retail industry employs 55 million Americans. That's more than 1 in 4. It's almost 1 in 3. $5 trillion worth of GDP. 20% of the workforce is involved in retail. So it's, the implications for what happens next in terms of the way technology gets used are enormous, because retail is the largest private sector employer in the country. And I think, you talked about this just now, talking about the associates and the customers. I mean, technology is going to continue to provide a solution. And so AI was this year's version, and then I think last year's version, it will be this year's version of what's on the show floor at our convention, for example. But the goal of technology, whether it's AI or any other technology that's been deployed or will be in the future, is to serve customers more effectively,
right?
And improve the experience. And so, we saw during the pandemic years ago, the way retailers worked so hard to take friction out of the experience in so many ways, whether it was in payments, whether it was engagement using social commerce, doing drive-through pickup, all the things that had to happen because of the operating environment at that time that have become embedded and habitual for customers and expectations now. And I think improving the experience and taking friction out, whether that's the way you serve up offerings and so that across all your channels there's a seamless offering, or whether it's in fulfillment, whether it's in engagement, all those dimensions have the potential to get much more effective and create stronger relationships, which drives better engagement, which drives sales, which creates employment opportunities, which is going to help with sustainability. I mean, there's so many dimensions to the way in which this can help that are all positive, and it's a complex environment. Not everyone's got these kinds of resources to kind of navigate it, and even when you do, it's still complicated.
It is, but where you ended is where we started. It is a complex industry. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of magic behind the scenes to get goods to customers in exactly what they wanted, the way they wanted it, the time they wanted it, the value, the right quality, and all that comes together. And I think you're right that ultimately what we're trying to do, and I think this next wave of technology and this trend that's right in front of us and upon us is going to change. It's going to change the experience for customers, and it's going to make the experience our associates have who are trying to serve those customers much better. And in leadership, we get the position of working on behalf of a lot of other people. You do that across the 55 million Americans in retail. At Walmart in the United States, we have 1.4 million people on our team, and it's just a privilege of a lifetime to get to serve so many people and make a real difference. So, if you are going to go to the show, that'd be great. If you're not, I encourage you this year or another year to go, just to understand the breadth of what's possible in this industry. Everything from flying an airplane to writing code to innovation to service, healthcare, it's all in there, and it's all a part of what we do. Matt, just last thing as we wrap up, what are you most excited about in the year ahead?
I'm most excited about the energy of everyone being together. We really felt it last year. I think we're going to feel it even more this year for lots of reasons. The show is great. The speakers are going to be really strong. The exhibit floor is sold out again. Nearly a third of the attendees are international attendees. We have visitors from around the world. More than 100 countries will bring delegations to the show. So it's become a global event and a destination, and it's really the can't miss event. If you're in the retail industry, lots of CEOs will be there, senior executives, folks that are thinking about the future of the industry, and people from around the world. So it's a great week. It's fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a great time to be together.
It is. And people ask me questions all the time about leadership, and leadership's about learning. And this is one of those opportunities you can continue to learn. There probably is, I can't think of a day in the last 31 years I haven't gone to work and learned something each and every day, and I look forward to that every day. I learn from our team, our customers, all this around. This is a great opportunity to do that. So, Matt, thank you for everything you do for the industry. Looking forward to this next few days. It's going to be really exciting, and we hope to see you all there.
Well, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.